Very special light this morning to welcome you here to Sunrise Stroll and Chat at the Sea of Galilee in Magdalene. There comes the sun, and we're just on time. There comes the sun. It's a high point there in the Golan, and it's just peeping over the surface. This light is so fantastic. The beauty touches the soul, and it's very hard for us human beings to imitate, to outdo, to enter into competition with the beauty of creation. There is such grace, such authentic color, sound, the birds. People love fireworks and they're pretty good. But this light and sound show each morning is hard to outdo. Thank you there for all the nice reactions to this moment here at the Sea of Galilee. Then we have these new sprouts from the stump. So I have some news for you. Yesterday we were invited to an exhibit, a new archaeological exhibit here at the Magdala Stone Museum. In fact, we can probably see it from here, now that I remember. Let me see if I get a position where I can show you. It's at Kibbutz Ginosar, where the Jesus boat is on display for all of you who have been here. And this new exhibit, an archaeological exhibit, it's recalling the path of the Sanhedrin. The Sanhedrin was the governing body of Jewish life. And then after the fall of Jerusalem, and the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, they came to Galilee. And they were in different locations. Obviously, a big body like that needed places to meet, and there were obviously different factors where and why they would meet in different places. And we can more or less see it from here. So if we zero in over here, that's the Mount of Beatitudes up there on the right. And then we have these boats here that are going to help us to find it. So you have 4 boats right now on the screen, or 5. And there you see the Sea of Galilee Hotel sticking out through the trees. And actually the Magdala Stone Museum and the kibbutz is just beyond that. So it's there in those trees. Not very far from here, really, 20-25 minutes walk. And this exhibit is an exhibit of archaeological artifacts from various places where the Sanhedrin was for different centuries, and ending up in Tiberias, south of us. So it was kind of a wandering seat for in Galilee for the Sanhedrin. But the major piece of the exhibition is the Magdala Stone. which obviously was hidden at that time. It was hidden before the destruction of Jerusalem. That's the conclusion of the archaeologists, because we found it inside our synagogue and here at Magdala. So that means it was there covered up probably since before the destruction of the temple, while the Sanhedrin was still in its own place in Jerusalem. These guys open up with the light. You can see here another one that's still closed right there. And depending on how much exposure to light, they're more open or less open. So that's a very big thing. So now apparently the Magdala Stone is going to be more out in the open, and it's going to be here for 3 months in the Kibbutz Ginosar exhibit, and then it's going to be exhibited in Jerusalem near the Western Wall, and then eventually will travel to other places over time, also overseas. It has already been to the Vatican for the first exhibit ever outside of Israel. There was a joint exhibit of the Jewish Museum in Rome at the synagogue, the main synagogue of Rome, together with the Vatican museums, on the history of the menorah. And obviously the Magdala Stone had pride of place, being the oldest menorah, sculpted menorah ever found. So then it was also significant that exhibit was in Rome, because up to then the oldest menorah had been in Rome on the Titus Arch, commemorating the destruction of Jerusalem. And then the second exhibit was in the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Art Between Kingdoms was the title of that exhibit a few years later, and now some years later still, it's on display right here, right back home in Galilee, up here at Kibbutz Ginosar. So another moment of the history of the Magdala Stone and its display. So then we'll just touch base with our readings today. One of the big points that Paul is making, which is very consistent with the themes of the letter to the Romans and the theme of faith, is that our justification is not our merit, that we're not self-sufficient before God. And that's probably the thorny issue for the sensitivity of a lot of people in our time. There's a great sense of pride and self-sufficiency, the self-made person. And we have great responsibility for ourselves, absolutely. And there are people who work harder and study harder and make sacrifices to grow and to prepare, also take care of their health. So their diet and so many things. There's a lot of responsibility in our lives. But at the end of the day, when it comes to justification, without God's grace, God's free gift, there's no justification. And we accept that by faith. And Paul is using an argumentation there about Abraham. And he's arguing from Abraham's experience of, the scripture says that he was justified by faith. So it was accredited to him as justification that he believed in God. And it wouldn't be accredited to him if he deserved it. Then he would have earned it. It would be his right. But it was accredited to him. It was attributed to him. It was given to him. Because of his faith in God, extraordinary faith, absolutely amazing faith. And Paul then, in the great Jewish theological argumentation tradition coming from Scripture, is nailing that point very powerfully with conclusions. And then he also invokes the name of David who obviously had such a high profile in the consciousness of the Jewish people and also the messianic expectation associated with David and the house of David. And there I'm getting close right now to this stump where we were a few minutes ago. A stump from the root of Jesse, you know, from the stump of Jesse, a root a shoot will come forth. And if you want to see, we even have a stump over here where there's no tree, because here there's a tree growing. But over here there's another stump where there's growth coming without any tree. So you can see this experience here of the sprout from the trunk, from the stump of Jesse, a sprout will come. And so David was a very big figure in the temple, and even in the temple itself. It's interesting, just considering those two things. We have two columns, and speaking about the menorah and the Magdala Stone, it's all about that. And there are even two columns on the Magdala Stone. And I sent a picture to the WhatsApp group this morning before the sunrise announcement picture. And the two columns are called Boaz and Yachin. Yachin means that God is the founder of the cosmos, and Boaz was, in a certain sense, the base, the foundation of the house of David. Boaz and Ruth. So a lot of associations there in that thinking. And then we go to the Gospels, and we have a very beautiful message of consolation in the Gospels. In the midst of suffering and persecutions and all the difficulties that the believers could have, that we shouldn't worry, because even the birds of the air are taken care of by God in a very powerful way. You're on live stream here, guys. Shadur, hi. Good morning. So these guys are out. It's Friday, so it's basically in the Western world's weekend concept. Friday plays into Saturday, into Shabbat, like Saturday plays into Sunday. Good job, guys. Boker Tov. I wonder where they're off to now. Oh, they're going to go through that little path over there and cross our big river. So the consolation that no matter what the difficulties and obstacles and persecutions come our way, that the Lord is there with his care and providence is there. Not a hair of our head will be damaged. And even if they do succeed in damaging it, we don't have to worry, because there'll be a restoration of our persons completely granted and given. That's the great expectation, the great hope, our faith in the Almighty, Creator of heaven and earth. Hello there. This good lady is here helping, and she's out every morning to see the sunrise. There we have another sprout from the stump. Sabah al-khair. So I think we leave it like that for today. God bless you. See you later, alligators. This glorious morning here at the Sea of Galilee. And may you be a sunrise in your family and in the community. If there's no sunrise in your area today, you can be the sunrise. God bless you.